Hi guys, this is Evan from NASCAR Tube, and I'm sad to announce that we have lost Steve Byrnes, Fox Sports announcer for NASCAR. He was 56 years old, husband of Karen Byrnes, and father of 12-year-old Bryson Byrnes. Steve lost his life Tuesday, April 21st, 2015, to a hard-fought battle of head and neck cancer. As NASCAR fans everywhere, and of all the people that were affected by Steve, remember and mourn over him. I know Steve would want us to continue talking about racing because that was his passion. This broadcast was recorded on April 20th, Monday, after the Bristol race. Myself and NASCAR Tube gives its full condolences to Karen and Bryson and the whole Byrnes family.
You're watching NASCAR Tube. And now, your host, Evan Jones.
What is going on, you guys? NASCAR EJ coming to you once again from the NASCAR Tube. And wow, what two races we have had since the last time we met. Texas, for one, was an awesome race. I mean, we had Jimmie Johnson gets the job done, wins his second race of the season. And then a week later, we go to Bristol. Matt Kenseth ends his winless streak at Bristol Motor Speedway. And wow, I mean, just the racing action was awesome. Mother Nature made her appearance at Bristol, but it didn't stop that racing action. And anytime you can get a night race at Bristol, it just makes it a whole better weekend anyway. And I mean, you got Eric Jones was the first time winner in the Xfinity Series, and Joey Logano wins the Xfinity Series race at Bristol. And wow, I mean, I don't even know what else to say. That we have so much to say here, so expect this to be a longer video than usual. And man, it was just an awesome 2 weekends. And you ever have that feeling whenever you get done with watching a race and you just say, man, I'm ready for next week. And we got another short track next week at Richmond, and we go from one of the smallest tracks to the biggest track at Talladega. And the next time we'll talk, it will be after Talladega. And I'm really, 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 really excited. And I'm hyped. If you follow me if you were watching me on Twitter last night or the other night at the race at Bristol, about the last, I guess, 50 laps, I was tweeting the fire. I mean, I was doing like live race updates. I picked Kurt Busch to win the race, and then the last few laps there, Edwards and Busch got together, and man, I thought when he took that pit stop, I didn't know what to think. But we're going to talk all about that here in just a few minutes. But first, let's talk about Texas. And here are your highlights.
Drivers, start your engine! Coors Light Pole Award winner Kurt Busch led the field to the green flag for the second time this season, alongside Stewart-Haas Racing teammate Kevin Harvick. And it was Harvick who would quickly steal the top spot and slowly break away from the competition. On lap 32, the first caution flag of the race came out when Alex Kennedy's race car went for a spin in turn 3. Well under yellow, Kurt Busch reclaimed his lead on the exit of pit road as Dale Earnhardt Jr. was forced to head back for adjustments due to a loose wheel, costing the 88 team several positions in the process. Back under green, Busch was able to hang on to his lead, but as the race pressed on, other contenders began to work their way to the front of the field. On lap 126, with Jimmie Johnson leading the race, a persevering Kevin Harvick was able to track down the 48 car and work his way back into the top position. But only 30 laps later, Johnson's race car became a dominant force, allowing him to take over the lead once more and break away from the 4 car and others. On lap 228, the yellow flag would wave when Matt Kenseth got loose on turn 3, sending his 20 car for a spin, but Kenseth managed to avoid making contact with the wall and other drivers. The race was back underway and Johnson continued to dominate the competition. But with less than 100 laps remaining, the caution flag waved once more when Justin Allgaier blew a tire and went hard into the outside retaining wall. While under caution, Brad Keselowski was penalized for a commitment line violation when his 2-car ran into the orange cone at the entrance of pit road. This costly penalty would force Keselowski to restart from the 23rd position. After multiple drivers opted to stay out of the pits, Joey Logano led the field to the restart, but both Harvick and Johnson were determined to get back up to the front. Logano tried his best to fend off the 4-car, but with 50 laps to go, Harvick stormed into the lead. Harvick was breaking away, but the caution flag waved for debris with only 25 laps left in the race, and crew chiefs immediately began to think pit strategy. On pit road, a few race teams chose to take only 2 tires, and it was Jamie McMurray and Jeff Gordon leading the field to the restart. With laps winding down, both Harvick and Johnson were pressing McMurray for the lead, but Johnson was able to make a great run on the 1-car and steal first place with 14 laps remaining. Harvick desperately tried to reach the 48 car, but Johnson would prevail. Johnson went on to grab his second victory of the 2015 season after leading 128 laps, and would become only the 3rd driver to win the spring and fall race at Texas Motor Speedway.
As we see again, Kurt Busch is one of the front runners of this race. And I'm telling you, I like it. I'm loving it because Kurt, as hard of a time as he's had, and I've expressed my opinion about that before in earlier videos, but I love seeing him up front. It just, I almost get chills about it because of how far he's come in the past 2 years. And yeah, we thought he was up on a high rise back a couple years ago. Well, actually last year, and then ended up things just start falling down again. But I actually think that he's now with Stewart Haas Racing. I believe that he's still back on top, and it's going to be awfully hard for him to fall now. And that's changes my attitude, because when I take full blame of what I said before, when they announced that he was suspended indefinitely, I said he would never race again. I said that he would never race in NASCAR again. I thought he was going to be another Jeremy Mayfield, believe it or not. But I just, man, that guy, he is determined. Tony Gibson is determined, and it is unreal by how far they have come, and I think Tony Gibson is the perfect person to have on the pit box for him. Now, what I did notice during the race was that a lot of drivers were complaining about vibrations, and although you didn't see that in the highlights a while ago, but if you heard any of the radio communications during the race, I mean, even Johnson, that won the race, had it. Johnson did not have the best car all night long as a whole. He actually had some trouble towards the beginning of the race and throughout the race, and until about the last 100 laps, and he really picked it up. Chad must have done really put his magic into that car, because I mean, it absolutely took off after that. And then after the last restart, he was gone. Johnson was gone. And it was really up between him and Harvick and Junior. But Junior, that battle for second was something else. I mean, we all figured about, I guess, 5 laps to go or so, we all knew that Johnson was probably going to win this race unless there was a caution. But I was thinking if Harvick ever got back to Johnson, that would be a good finish. But Harvick and Junior were really pushing. They were pushing hard. And ended up, Harvick just got in front of Junior on the last lap. But that was some race for second. But the racing action was so great the other night. It was awesome at Texas. And even in the Nationwide Series, you look at Eric Jones winning. Eric Jones fought off Brad Keselowski and Dale Earnhardt Jr. He deserved that win. I mean, he absolutely killed it out there during that race. And he's running part-time in the Xfinity Series as well. I think I said Nationwide a while ago, but Xfinity, it's taken a while to get used to. But he's running a full-time Truck Series schedule and a part-time Xfinity Series, and he was driving the number 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series, and won that race. And he didn't win it. He didn't win it without a fight, though. And that was, if you hadn't seen that, you need to go check that out. But it's Eric Jones, and then he climbs into. Well, we'll talk about that in a few minutes when we talk about Bristol. But what a run by this kid! He's on fire. I mean, 18 years old, and I mean he's a competitor to Chase Elliott, no doubt about it. But really good, really good young talent in this sport, and the Xfinity races are just as fun to watch, or more fun to watch than the Sprint Cup races. And if you don't see the Xfinity races, or even the truck races, if you don't see the truck races, go watch them. They're on Fox Sports 1, and go watch those races. Set your DVR to record them. They are nothing but great races, and even the truck races, they don't run every weekend. They are some of the funnest races to watch. Those truck races are. Just the young talent, and just a whole bunch of daredevils, I guess. I don't see how in the world they race that close and not wreck sometimes, but they are some serious racers out there. And I'm looking at 10 years from now into NASCAR, or even 5 years from now into NASCAR, and I'm seeing into the Cup Series that we're going to have some really good talent in the Cup Series in the next few years. But after a much milder race and less tempers flying at Texas Motor Speedway this spring, Jimmy Johnson wins his first spring race at Texas Motor Speedway. That leads up to 5 wins at Texas Motor Speedway. And the other 4 of those were in the fall race, in the chase race in the fall. But now that he's got a spring race win, I think it'd be great. And it's just amazing by how that guy, how Jimmy Johnson and that crew just goes at. They win everywhere. I mean, they're the next. I mean, they're pretty well the new age Jeff Gordon with 2 more championships than him. But and even Jeff Gordon has not had a bad past 2 races either. But now let's go on to Bristol, and let's talk about Bristol. Here are your highlights for Bristol.
Rain delayed the start of the Food City 500 in support of Steve Byrnes and Stand Up to Cancer, and it was Matt Kenseth who jumped out to an early lead when the green flag finally dropped. But things didn't stay green for long, as teammates Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski made contact on lap 19, bringing out the first caution of the day, and then the rains came down. While under the red flag, the number 11 team had to make a driver swap. Denny Hamlin suffered a neck spasm, forcing him to retire from the race, and placing Eric Jones in the driver's seat for the remainder of the race. After nearly a 4-hour delay, the race resumed and stayed green for a while, as the drivers of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series put on quite the show in Thunder Valley, with the lead changing hands several times. Late in the running, the action began to heat up. Jimmy Johnson was involved in several on-track incidents, including one that caused Kevin Harvick, an early race favorite, to take his number 4 machine behind the wall. Kyle Larson was in the lead when he ran into the back end of the lap car of Landon Castle, sending Castle hard into the outside wall. Matt Kenseth was able to retake the lead with 28 laps to go and battled it out with his Gibbs teammate Carl Edwards and Jeff Gordon. With 6 laps to go, Gordon and Edwards were fighting hard for the second position when Edwards got loose, collected Kurt Busch, and set up a green-white checkered finish. Kenseth was able to get a great restart and took the checkered flag in style, ending a 51-race winless streak.
It means a lot. I mean, I got a great race team. Last year was tough, and not winning again this year so far has been tough. We've been putting ourselves in position, so really need to thank Jason and all these guys. Our pit stops have been great, and I haven't been doing as good a job, and the cars haven't been as good, but these guys have been really doing it.
Now, before I get into the actual racing part of the weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway, I do want to say that I think it was wonderful that NASCAR and Bristol Motor Speedway put this on for Steve Byrnes. And I'm telling you what, Steve Byrnes, I know, has touched all of us in a way. He's always been one of my favorite NASCAR broadcasters of all time. And, when you watch Race Hub, you go back to the old shows back in NASCAR. I think it was like Inside Nextel Cup, I think was what it was called. And I'm telling you, I just love his broadcasting or his style of speaking. I think Steve, he is the most kindest guy you could ever work with. And I know a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook, and he's good friends with him, works with him at Fox. And I'm telling you, I just see pictures of him all the time, and he's always acting goofy. He's always got a smile on his face, and I really wish Steve gets better. He's got cancer. As far as I know, I believe it's head and neck cancer, and he was free for a while, and now it's come back, and he's been out since I guess it's been around October of last year. But I really do, Steve. I hope that Steve gets back up and going. And his son Bryson is the nicest kid you'd ever seen. And even they had a little video of him on the race the other day. And I think it's great. I think it's great that even the announcers and the media of NASCAR, as much as they're hated on sometimes, they're the reason that NASCAR is the way it is now. And if you think about it that way, that is exactly why I'm here. That's why I'm talking right here. He was one of my mentors, I have to say. Him, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip, Mike Joy, all them guys over at Fox, and then even and even the ones at NBC now, or Alan Bestwick or Andy Petrie, over Dale Jarrett now over at ESPN, although they're not broadcasting this year. But, those are the guys that I look at and I learn from. I try to look at them and I say, okay, well, that's how they speak it. Well, that's how I need to speak it. I really enjoy watching Steve speak. And I like Adam Alexander. He's on Race Hub. I try to watch Race Hub every day. And but I'm telling you, it's just not the same without Steve there. And I think Danielle and Adam hold it down pretty good. But I sure do miss Steve on there. And I know probably he really wants to be back in the studio working and back on the track as well. He's up there with Dick Berggren, if you ask me. I've always thought Dick Berggren was one of the best announcers ever. And I think one driver called him the modern day Ken Squire, But I don't think we all realized by how much he has affected us in NASCAR as the way it is now. And I follow him on Twitter, and I follow his wife Karen on Twitter. Steve's just a nice guy. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever talk to, and I really hope he gets better. And I think it's awesome that NASCAR put that on. NASCAR and Bristol Motor Speedway put that on Food City 500 in supporting Steve Byrnes. And I think it was awesome looking at everybody standing up on the pit wall with the name "I support Steve." I think that is awesome. And I think NASCAR needs to do more of this. People that are closer to the sport, that have, Sherry Pollux, Martin Truex Jr.'s girlfriend. She's got ovarian cancer. That's just something else that, I think NASCAR is more of a. I love the family relations. I love how NASCAR sticks together with things, always helping families out. Every driver nearly has a charity now. You go to other sports, yeah, they got charities, but do you see them as big as this? Do you see football charities, or do you see things as big as NASCAR? I mean, even Kyle Petty's got the Victory Junction camp that he has, and from Adam Petty, his son, and that is awesome. That is one of the most awesome things that you can do. Not only NASCAR is a family sport, but it is a caring sport for people that have issues, and we're always there for people that even at the NASCAR awards you have the France Mary Jane France award that goes out, and that just it warms everybody's heart. But I think that's great. But as for the racing goes, Matt Kenseth starts on the pole and finishes in P1 position. And I'm glad to see him get back in victory lane. I think we all are. You know, and as bad as not any hate on Kevin Harvick or Jimmy Johnson, but I think we're all glad to see somebody else win. But Kevin Harvick's still on top of his game. I mean, he even still had a great race. He had a great race at Texas. Didn't have that great of a race in Bristol. But Mother Nature made its appearance again at Bristol Motor Speedway. And I put on Twitter, I said, deja vu, NASCAR. I mean, it was getting close down to the end of the race, and I thought, man, they're going to end this under caution again, just like last year. And thought Matt Kenseth was going to be in Carl Edwards' shoes. But even Carl Edwards had a great night. And my pick was Kurt Busch to win. And then you see what happened then with Kurt and Carl. But ended up Kurt said in one of his post-race interviews, said it looked like he got caught down in the marbles or whatever, the rubber gets laid down on the track, and looks like, and Kurt says he got caught whatever he got caught into, and Kurt just says, I saw him wrecking, but it was kind of like, well, I guess I'm going to hit him now, so it was a shame that both those guys got taken out. I mean, they were one of the big front runners, but that call on Kurt Busch's team. And I actually put on Twitter, I put Tony Gibson in a tweet, and I ought to probably go apologize to him because he wasn't there the other night, and Kurt had a substitute crew chief the other night. But it's just amazing that I thought Kurt would come down pit road, and I thought, why is he pitting? He's in the lead, and there's like, whatever laps there was. I mean, there wasn't many, maybe 20. And that's not a lot at Bristol, trust me. But I was thinking, what do you think, Kurt? But he was on the lead lap, and they might as well just pit anyway, put new tires on it. But even then, I was impressed, and to think, he's got fresh tires, and he'll be faster, and you're restarting with a clean slate on a field. So why not? Why not pit? And I didn't think it really worked out to their plan with them being the only one. I mean, they were all alone going down pit road, and I don't think that was their plan. I think it was a gamble. What a gamble by those guys, but pulled it off though. I give them that. They pulled it off, but didn't hardly get the win. If they didn't get caught in that wreck, I think they would have kind of got back to third. I think they could have gotten to the third, but Carl restarted on the outside and or maybe it was the inside, I can't remember, but Carl started on the front row on that restart and dove down below Gordon and just lost it. And I sat there and I went, no, in front of the TV. I mean, I was not very happy about it, but after I saw that. But either way, a great race. Rain. Well, that's East Tennessee. I live in Middle, but it got rough here last night in Middle Tennessee. I think it even hailed here at the house last night. It got rough here yesterday. There's a lot of weather come through, but I'm glad they finally got the race in last night. I was afraid they were going to have to move it up to Monday as much rain was coming. It was fixing to get rough there last night. What pulled them down, put the jet tires out before that green-white checker last night was because it was just a little bitty patch of rain coming through. Just a little pop-up shower come through, and they got it dried pretty quick. Tops off to Bristol Motor Speedway and NASCAR for getting that for the crews last night. Man, it seemed like every other breath they were going out there cleaning up a wreck or something. I mean, they were having to hustle, and they knew that rain was on its way, and I bet NASCAR was all over them saying, hey, get out there, get this mess cleaned up, and let's get this show back on the road. And I believe, and I was just hats off to the guys over there on the crews working on the track crews. But either way, that last restart. And where did Johnson come from? That was my thing. Where did Jimmy Johnson come from? He had a terrible night. I don't know if there was any more sheet metal left on the car that was straight at all last night. Or Sunday night, but that was something else. that was something else to see how much, just how it was kind of spooky last night. You had fog rolling over. I tweeted and I said I believe it was like 5 nights of Bristol Motor Speedway, the video game Five Nights at Freddy's. But it was freaky last night. But that was really interesting, really good race. And a lot of people say that they don't like this new Bristol. They don't like the new Bristol where you can pass on the outside. They said that's not Bristol. Bristol, you run down on the bottom. Somebody's in your way, you bump them out of the way. Okay, whatever. I kind of like it. I kind of like the new Bristol. It's my opinion. And you run around the top. I think it's about the lane. It's about lane choice, and even like Texas Motor Speedway, it's about lane choice and who has the better car on which lane. And that puts it not as a driver's talent, but shows a crew's talent and how they set up the car, and it takes everybody at that point to do what they got to do. And going to Denny Hamlin, after the long rain delay, they got about 23 laps in, I believe. That was after the Penske boys wrecked, Joey and Brad. And Denny actually popped his neck or something around lap 12 is what he said. And that's when we noticed he was starting to fall back. And he said he was hurt. He was hurting pretty bad in that car. And that's a shame, but he said he called Eric Jones, which was in Concord, North Carolina, which is where Charlotte Motor Speedway is, and they asked him, they said, hey, come up here, come to Bristol. They popped him on a plane in Concord, flew up there, got the helicopter to the track, and he raced the remainder of that race. And that's amazing how, and with this new points, and with the new format that started last year, that can actually be done. See, Denny's already got a win at Martinsville this year. So Denny's really, Denny says, maybe I could have raced, but it was going to hurt me more. So, let's give this young kid a shot at the Sprint Cup. See how he can like it. But, I'm kind of in favor of that, and I'm kind of not. But we'll go on to a later subject with that later. We're running out of time here with 21 minutes, but I told you it's going to be a long video. But Eric Jones, man, that kid's got talent, and really stuck it out there and just held it on the track. It was more of a practice time, more of a just getting used to the car. And you got to remember, the only thing they changed in that car was the steering wheel. Eric Jones' steering wheel is about an inch bigger than Denny's, and believe it or not, but see, all the drivetrain and everything set up to the way Denny likes it. And even the seat was in the same. So he didn't get in that car and he wasn't comfortable. And to do that at a track like Bristol, that says something. I mean, you're in that car for 500 laps. 500 laps. With Eric Jones' case is about 570 something. But at the same time, that's tough to do. That is 470 something. But that is tough to do. And you got to know he wasn't comfortable, but he saw how the guys raced, and I think it was just good seat time for him, and I think it was awesome just to have that for him. But I don't think it's time for him to go full time into Cup yet. I think he still needs another year after this year in Xfinity before he starts in Cup. You don't want to go into like Joey Logano did, and Joey Logano will admit it. He went too early into Cup. And he struggled. He struggled, and I think Joe Gibbs knows that, and I don't think he wants to put him in there yet. But I did hear that he's not far away from being in a Cup car, and now that Joe Gibbs Racing has got is a four car team like Hendrick, are we liable to see a part-time fifth car like Hendrick Motorsports is doing with Chase Elliott next year? Could be, and I think Joe Gibbs is seeing that, and I think that could be a big possibility for next year. Put him in a part-time fifth car, and we'll see how that goes, But the kid's talented. The kid's really talented. But although I would not be surprised if he goes full-time next year in Cup. I would not be surprised if he goes full-time. But that means one driver's got to go out of Joe Gibbs, or another team has got to pick Eric Jones up. And Don't really know yet. It's too early to tell. But either way, a Joe Gibbs driver did win the race. Matt Kenseth ends his winless streak at Bristol. But really glad to see him win. I think we all are. But but either way, guys, that's pretty well it. That's pretty well the race. Um, I really enjoyed those races, both of them, and especially Bristol. I'm still hyped over Bristol. It was fun, but hope you liked our new intro at the beginning of this video. Leave a like button for the intro if you liked it or not. But I did notice the last few weeks I have not mentioned who I picked for the next races, and I'm ended up having to go on Twitter and put it on there. But I do want to do that this week, and I want to make that normal. But for my pick for Richmond this week, I believe I'm going to go with Carl Edwards, and I believe Carl's got a good shot. It's I think he's got a lot of help there from Denny Hamlin. Because he knows how to get around that track, and I think it's time that in the short track program for Joe Gibbs is doing really well right now. So I believe Carl Edwards will get his first victory this weekend at Richmond International Speedway. For Talladega, I don't know how I'm going to pick this, but might as well just put a bowl and just pick a name, just pull a number out of the hat. But I'm just going to kind of guess here. I literally do not know right now. Usually I think about it before, but I do not know. I'm going to say Greg Biffle. And I really think about that and kind of brainstorm here, but, look how close he was last year to winning that race. And we know that the Roush Fenway guys, although they're lacking, but I am seeing that they have a pretty good restrictor plate program over there, and I'm going to say Greg Biffle for that race. And but there's no doubt Roush Fenway needs to step up their game, and I don't know about them. I'm afraid that they've lost their groove. They've lost Carl Edwards, and that was one of their that was their head driver. There's no doubt, but I don't think with Ricky, and even Ricky's still a young gun, he doesn't know, although he's won 2 back-to-back championships in the Nationwide Series, or the Xfinity Series, it's not Cup. It's not Cup, and I don't think Ricky's got enough background yet to say that, I mean, he's not finished, he's a top 20 on a good day, and he's not really the greatest, and Greg's really about the same way. Greg has 19 Cup wins, but that's nothing like Carl Edwards or Kevin Harvick or Jimmy Johnson. That's not like them guys, and he's been in the sport just as long as they have, if longer. So Roush Fenway needs to step up their game, but I don't think that team over there with Greg, Ricky, and Trevor Bayne, I don't think that's going to be their answer to anything. But and they've got work to do. I see I'm starting to ramble, so I think it's a good time to end this video. But don't forget to like the video, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever you have. And as always, y'all have a nice day.